Hey team, we're just going to do an overview of the next phase of the Compete program. The next 12 weeks are all about peaking you for the Strength and Depth UK Championships in July. If you've been following the athlete program, you'll know that's entered much more of an off-season phase, much more developmental, whereas in the Compete program, it's going to stay much more sports specific. So what we're going to do now is run through where we're going with the program over the coming weeks. Here we have our first week of training. We'll go weightlifting first, then we'll go through gymnastics and so on and so forth. With our weightlifting, for the next 4 weeks, we're gradually going to be reducing the reps and increasing the amount of weight that we're hitting. But for the first 4 weeks, we're capping the heaviest set at 8 RPE, which basically means no grindy reps where we go into bad positions. Okay, so rein yourself back a little bit for these first 4 weeks. And then in the second 4 weeks, after we have a little deload after 4 weeks, then you can start to go even heavier from there. For our Ollie lifting, there are kind of 3 elements that we're going to touch on each time. First element that you can see here in this phase is all about technique work. So we're working at 65 to 70% throughout, and we can just use these sessions to dial in our technique. Imagine the whole time that you're putting every rep on Instagram, and you want every rep to be perfect. In our other weightlifting sessions, there'll be 2 other elements that we're going to touch on. The first one is going to be building to a heavy under some time pressure, okay, either time or sets pressure. So here we've only got 8 sets to build to a heavy, and we've only got a certain amount of time between each set. Then we've also got some weightlifting under fatigue. So here we've got burpees, and then building to a heavy snatch. You'll see in the Daily Inch, I've written some notes for each session for the weightlifting and for everything else that should hopefully guide you and help you get the most out of those sessions. For the lifting that we spoke about at the start, we've obviously got back squats that we're going to be doing every Monday, front squats that we're going to be doing every Wednesday, and then on the Saturdays, we're always going to be doing some single leg work, okay? 1 for kind of robustness and to iron out any imbalances, and 2 because quite often at competitions they have heavy walking lunges and that kind of thing, so it stays nice and sport specific there as well. We'll move on to gymnastics now. For our gymnastics, it's going to be a few different session types that I think you'll start to get familiar with. There'll be some gymnastics conditioning that for the first weeks we'll always have complementary pairings. By that we mean stuff that doesn't affect too much the gymnastic movement that you're doing. Okay, so if I'm doing chest to bars and then I'm doing some squats, my chest to bars aren't too affected by the squats, but if I'm doing chest to bars and rowing, obviously they are affected. So first 4 weeks, our gymnastic conditioning is complementary pairings, then we have a little break, and then we're going to move on to some non-complementary pairings for that gymnastics conditioning. Also, there'll be gymnastic skills to work on. These will be kind of more low intensity practice sessions, so we can touch on some of the key skills that are going to come up at Strength and Depth in 12 weeks time. And then session that I'm super excited about every Friday is going to be this Gymnastics Volume session. I'll talk you through the details of that so we all know what to do. Hopefully you'll all have your 5-minute numbers for your gymnastics. We're going to be using them as the basis for this Gymnastics Volume session. And you'll see what we're doing here is we've got 50% of our chest to bar pull-ups. And for the first set, we've got to do that in big sets, 4 big sets. So let's say 50% of my 5-minute chest to bar was 50. Let's say I got 100 in 5 minutes. I'd want to chip away at the 50 in 4 big sets. So maybe quick maths, I go 13, 13, 12, 12. What I'm thinking about there is I do my 13, I drop down, and then I'm trying to rest for the perfect amount of time where I can then jump up and do another set of 13. Then I drop down, rest for the perfect amount of time where I can then jump up and do another set of 12, and then same again. I don't want to be resting too long. I want to be resting the same time that I would be if I was midway through a workout. Then we do ski at a recovery pace, hopefully flushing out our arms, getting fatigue out of our arms, nice and chill on there. You can go low dampness setting and just run through 800 meters ski at recovery pace. And then we're doing the same again, but in 6 sets. So I won't do the quick maths here, but I chip away at 6 sets again with that perfect rest period. And hopefully, as I'm going, I'm learning what is the most efficient amount of rest and sets for me when I'm faced with 50 chest to bar. Okay, so hopefully I'll see, cool, I had to rest quite a long time when I did big sets, and I also had to drop down quite a big time here. So then this middle section of the chest to bar, that's what I should do when I'm faced with 50 chest to bars in a workout. And hopefully we'll do that with a range of different gymnastics movements over the next 4 weeks, and then it'll change slightly after the 4 weeks. But the goal on that is learning optimum set amount, optimum rep amount, and optimum rest amount. Main reason is we had a big conversation as a coaching group, and we said quite often athletes will come to us and say, what reps should I do for this workout? And you think, I really wish you knew your optimum set. So hopefully we can use this as a way of knowing our optimum rest and sets. We'll move on to conditioning. We've got 2 big conditioning sessions each week. One's on a Tuesday, one's on a Friday. The Tuesday session is kind of VO2 max intervals. So we're going at max effort, but we've got to be able to repeat them. Basically, we send a 15 cal row, rest 2 minutes, send a 15 cal bike, rest 2 minutes, send a 15 cal ski, and then we get big rest at the end. Okay. Dig in, try and go kind of 9 out of 10 each time so that we don't fall off a cliff. We are going at max sustainable pace. Okay. Good one to do with a pal so that you race each other each time. Over the course of the next few weeks, basically the time being worked for this amount of cals will increase. Then on our other conditioning session, we've got these paces to work through. Slowly building in pace on our bike. Okay. Make a note at the end of the session. What was your hard pace? Okay, what RPM or what wattage? What was your moderate pace? What was your easy to moderate pace? Because we're doing these again over and over the next few weeks, and the amount of time worked for will increase. Okay, another good one to do with a pal, where basically at the end of these 60 seconds at hard pace, write on a whiteboard how many cows you got, and then rest 2 minutes, and then try and go again, while still being disciplined on sticking to your easy pace, sticking to your moderate pace. We'll move on to our workout element. We've got 3 kind of CrossFit-y workouts to do each week. The workout on a Monday will always have some built-in rest. Classic kind of JST to have Monday a workout with some built-in rest. Then the workout on the Wednesday, that's our one based off something that's happened at Strength in Depth before. Okay, last time when they had Strength in Depth sanctionals, we've borrowed some workouts from there and tweaked them slightly as the sport's changed in the last few years. And then obviously on the Saturday, we've got our JST whiteboard workout. Also, there are elements of accessory work hit throughout the week. We've got a little strongman session just in case kind of sandbags and other bits come up. And then we've just got some upper body robustness work to do to keep that ticking over. Some strict work, because we never know as well whether strict stuff will come up. Like I said, each week there's also each day, there's also the daily inch to have a little look at, which should give you hints and tips and how to manage the layout of the day and that kind of thing. On a Thursday, some of you might want to take Thursday as a rest day, but we never know with these comps. Even though we know it's at the NEC, we never know whether there will be a running element or a swimming element that they might throw in. Sometimes competitions throw that in on the first day, don't they? So we've got the swimming conditioning sessions. This is the same as the swimming conditioning that's in the athlete program at the moment. And then we've got a running conditioning session to work through. On the running, a bit like on the conditioning on the Friday, we've got this thing that says, easy pace, hard pace, that kind of thing. Be good if you could go out wearing an earpiece or a wearable or an app or that kind of thing that lets you know, right, this is my easy pace is this split, and this is my hard pace, and this is my moderate pace is that split. I've also encouraged you this week, if you're starting the program this week, to get down to a JST Compete Regionals event. Their program won't be the same as ours, but I feel like the value of always going and putting yourself under that kind of in-person pressure is always good. So if you can, get down to a regionals event. But if not, we've got you covered because there's lots of stuff on the programme this Saturday. So that'll take you up to the first 4 weeks. Then there'll be a little kind of deload week. Then we'll have another 4 weeks where things will slightly change, and we can check in again and have things slightly change, about how things will slightly change. Then there'll be another deload, and then we'll have 2 weeks where we look to peak for the competition itself. I've also just put a note here. If any of you are, well done if you've made it this far through the video anyway, but if any of you are doing strength and depth team, then let us know and we'll try and layer in a team option for the different workouts as well, so you can get that kind of team fix and team practice. Awesome. That feels like a good place to wrap it up, and I'm buzzing to see how you guys do at strength and depth.